There are whispers in the silence, messages hidden in the rhythm of your life, and divine signals sent to awaken you. But the question remains, are you truly listening? God is speaking to you, always has been, always will be, not in a voice that shakes the heavens, but in ways so profound, so intricately woven into your existence, that only a heart tuned to the unseen can perceive them. One sign is the persistent thought, the idea that will not leave you alone. It comes when you are still, when you are busy, when you are neither here nor there, yet it remains. It presses upon you, not in fear, but in a knowing. It is the gentle touch of divinity nudging you towards your destiny. What you dwell upon, what continuously returns to your awareness, is not by accident. It is the whisper of the infinite within you, guiding you toward what you were always meant to become. Then there is the closed door. You have tried, you have pushed, you have insisted, yet the path is blocked. The human mind calls it failure, but the soul recognizes it as redirection. God's voice is often heard in the silence of rejection, in the unanswered prayers that shield you from what was never meant for you. When one door closes, it is because another has already been prepared, waiting for you to align with it. To fight against what is being removed is to resist the greater blessing that is making its way toward you. You will notice the shift in your emotions, the sudden clarity in your soul. One moment you are lost in confusion, and then, without warning, peace washes over you. It is not from you, but through you, a divine assurance that settles in your heart, even when nothing around you has changed. The outer world may still be uncertain, but the inner world knows. That peace is not ordinary. It is the voice of God saying, "Be still, I am with you." People enter your life as messengers. Sometimes a stranger says exactly what you needed to hear, as if the words were crafted just for you. Other times a friend, unaware of your struggle, offers a truth so precise that it shatters your doubts. Do you think this is coincidence? No. God speaks through the voices of others, through the books that find you at the right moment, through the lessons you never expected to receive. Every encounter is divinely orchestrated, every word a clue leading you closer to your awakening. And then there is the final sign, the deep, undeniable knowing. It is beyond logic, beyond reason, beyond the physical senses. It does not argue, it does not plead, it simply is. A certainty that cannot be explained, only experienced. It tells you to step forward when fear tells you to retreat. It tells you to trust when reason demands proof. That knowing is the voice of the Creator within you, revealing the path before you. God is speaking through the thoughts that persist, through the doors that close, through the peace that floods your soul, through the messengers that appear, through the knowing that cannot be shaken. The question is not whether He is speaking. The question is, are you listening? There are whispers in the silence, messages hidden in the rhythm of your life, and divine signals sent to awaken you. But the question remains, are you truly listening? God is speaking to you, always has been, always will be, not in a voice that shakes the heavens, but in ways so profound, so intricately woven into your existence, that only a heart tuned to the unseen can perceive them. One sign is the persistent thought, the idea that will not leave you alone. It comes when you are still, when you are busy, when you are neither here nor there, yet it remains. It presses upon you, not in fear, but in a knowing. It is the gentle touch of divinity nudging you towards your destiny. What you dwell upon, what continuously returns to your awareness, is not by accident. It is the whisper of the infinite within you, guiding you toward what you were always meant to become. Then there is the closed door. You have tried, you have pushed, you have insisted, yet the path is blocked. The human mind calls it failure, but the soul recognizes it as redirection. God's voice is often heard in the silence of rejection, in the unanswered prayers that shield you from what was never meant for you. When one door closes, it is because another has already been prepared, waiting for you to align with it. To fight against what is being removed is to resist the greater blessing that is making its way toward you. You will notice the shift in your emotions, the sudden clarity in your soul. One moment you are lost in confusion, and then, without warning, peace washes over you. It is not from you, but through you. A divine assurance that settles in your heart, even when nothing around you has changed. The outer world may still be uncertain, but the inner world knows. That peace is not ordinary. It is the voice of God saying, "Be still, I am with you." People enter your life as messengers. Sometimes a stranger says exactly what you needed to hear, as if the words were crafted just for you. Other times a friend, unaware of your struggle, offers a truth so precise that it shatters your doubts. Do you think this is coincidence? No. God speaks through the voices of others, through the books that find you at the right moment, through the lessons you never expected to receive. Every encounter is divinely orchestrated, every word a clue leading you closer to your awakening. And then there is the final sign, the deep, undeniable knowing. It is beyond logic, beyond reason, beyond the physical senses. It does not argue, it does not plead, it simply is. A certainty that cannot be explained, only experienced. It tells you to step forward when fear tells you to retreat. It tells you to trust when reason demands proof. That knowing is the voice of the Creator within you, revealing the path before you. There are no accidents, only divine timing. What appears to be delay is, in truth, preparation. The soul knows what the mind cannot yet understand. You are being positioned, shaped, made ready for what is already written. Every moment of doubt, every question, every detour is part of a grand design that you are living out in real time. You are not lost. You are not forgotten. You are being guided even when you do not see the way. The language of God is subtle yet unmistakable. It is the feeling that rises in your chest when something is right. It is the discomfort that urges you to leave what no longer serves you. It is the invisible thread pulling you towards your higher self. The world may try to convince you that such things are coincidence, but deep within you know better. You have always known. There is a force at work beyond the physical, and it speaks to you constantly. The dreams that keep returning, the images that flash in your mind before they become real, the sudden insight that shifts your entire understanding. These are not random, they are divine revelations, glimpses of what is to come. God does not communicate through fear, nor does he use confusion. His voice is love, certainty, and truth. The more you trust, the more you will hear. The more you listen, the more you will be guided. The moment you align with divine wisdom, you will see the world respond in ways that defy logic. Doors will open effortlessly, people will appear at the right time, and events will unfold in perfect harmony. This is not luck. It is the power of faith in action. It is the fulfillment of a promise written before time began. You are not waiting on God. He is waiting on you to awaken to the truth that has always been. The signs will keep coming, not because God needs to prove himself, but because he is patient with those who are learning to listen. You do not need to beg for guidance. It is already here. You do not need to chase after signs. They will find you. What is required is not force, but faith. Faith that you are exactly where you need to be. Faith that what is meant for you will never miss you. Faith that when God speaks, your soul already knows the answer. When the same message reaches you in different ways, pay attention. When you feel something shift inside you, trust it. When you ask for a sign and receive it in ways you never expected, embrace it. The mind seeks proof, but the heart recognizes truth. God does not call you to a life of fear, but a life of faith. He does not show you glimpses of your destiny only to leave you wandering. Every sign is a thread in the greater tapestry of your purpose. Silence is often the loudest answer. When prayers seem unanswered, when doors remain closed, when the path is unclear, it is not abandonment, it is instruction. You are being taught to trust, to move beyond what is seen, to rely not on circumstances, but on conviction. The noise of the world can be deafening, but the voice of God is always present for those who choose to listen. Your reality is shaped not just by what you see, but by what you believe. God's voice is woven into your thoughts, your emotions, your experiences. It is not separate from you, it is within you. You are not alone in your search for answers. The answers are already written in the depths of your being. The moment you recognize that, the moment you surrender to that truth, is the moment everything begins to change. God is speaking through the thoughts that persist, through the doors that close, through the peace that floods your soul, through the messengers that appear, through the knowing that cannot be shaken. The question is not whether He is speaking. The question is, are you listening? God's voice is not confined to Scripture, nor does it belong solely to the past. It is alive, moving, and ever present, speaking in the depths of your consciousness. Every moment of stillness, every breath of intuition, every unshakable knowing, these are not your own thoughts alone. They are the whispers of the divine, the echoes of eternity, calling you to remember who you are. The problem is not that God is silent. The problem is that the world is too loud. There are messages written in your experiences, hidden in the unfolding of your days, waiting for you to recognize them. What you call coincidence, the divine calls precision. The encounters that seem random, the words spoken by strangers, the unplanned detours, each is a carefully placed puzzle piece in the grand design of your becoming. If only you would pause long enough to see, if only you would step back and allow the larger picture to emerge, you would realize that nothing in your life has ever been without meaning. Even your greatest struggles carry divine instruction. That situation you wish had never happened, that pain you would rather forget, within it there is something God is teaching you. Growth is not comfortable, and transformation rarely feels like a blessing while you are in it. But every lesson, no matter how painful, is an answer to a question your soul once asked. You may not remember asking, but the universe never forgets. God's guidance is not given in ways the human mind would always prefer, but it is given in ways the soul requires. There is a divine rhythm to your existence, an unseen pattern unfolding with mathematical perfection. Have you ever noticed how certain themes keep appearing in your life? The same types of people, the same opportunities, the same challenges, over and over again? That is not repetition, it is revelation. Until you take hold of what God is trying to show you, the lesson will continue appearing in different forms. He speaks through cycles, through patterns, through the persistent repetition of truth. When you finally grasp it, when you step into awareness, the cycle shifts and new doors appear. Many seek God in grand miracles, in thunder and fire, in signs and wonders. But He is also in the quiet, in the ordinary, in the moments so small that they are easily overlooked. The way the morning light filters through your window, the feeling of warmth in a loved one's embrace, the sudden inspiration that arises when you least expect it. These too are divine communications. There is no separation between the sacred and the mundane. The presence of God is infused in all things, waiting for you to recognize Him in the details of your own existence. You were never meant to walk this path blindly. You were given the gift of divine intuition, the ability to sense what cannot yet be seen. Every time you ignore that inner voice, every time you silence the knowing in your heart, you later realized it was right all along. This is because it was never merely your own wisdom, it was the voice of God within you. He does not shout over your distractions, nor does He force you to listen. His voice is steady, unwavering, always present, but it is up to you to attune yourself to it. There is no randomness in the way signs appear. Have you ever thought of someone and then within moments they call or message you? Have you been searching for clarity only to stumble upon a book, a speech, a passage that speaks directly to your situation? Have you ever prayed for an answer and received it in a way you could never have anticipated? This is not accident. This is alignment. God is always speaking, but most miss it because they expect the message to come in the way they imagine rather than the way it is divinely given. The world teaches you to doubt what cannot be proven, to dismiss what cannot be seen. But faith is not about seeing first. It is about knowing first. When God speaks, He does not explain Himself in the language of human logic. He speaks in the language of faith, in the currency of belief, in the certainty that precedes evidence. This is why so many miss His voice, because they demand to see before they believe. But the truth is, you must believe first, and then you will see. The moment you stop looking with your physical eyes and begin perceiving with your inner vision, the messages will become unmistakable. You are never truly lost, even in seasons of silence, when you feel abandoned, when you are unsure of the path ahead. God has not left you. The silence itself is an answer. It is a call to trust, to listen more deeply, to prepare for what is already on its way. The space between the question and the answer is not emptiness, it is preparation. You are being readied, molded, refined. If the answer has not yet appeared, it is only because you are still being positioned to receive it. There is a divine order in everything, even in delay, even in detours. What you think of as wasted time is often the most essential part of the journey. The moments when nothing seems to be happening, when the heavens seem silent, are the moments when you are being strengthened in ways you cannot yet comprehend. Patience is not merely waiting, it is trust in action. It is the deep assurance that what is yours is already moving toward you, even when you cannot yet see it. God is speaking. He always has been. Through the closed doors that protect you, through the desires that will not leave your heart, through the peace that surpasses understanding, through the voices of strangers who unknowingly deliver messages meant for you, through the knowing that rises within you, even when circumstances contradict it. You do not need to ask for more signs, they are already present. You do not need to beg for guidance, it is already given. What you need is stillness, awareness, and faith. When you trust what you feel more than what you see, when you listen to the whispers more than the noise, when you follow the pull of the unseen rather than the demands of the visible, you will find that God has been speaking all along. The question has never been whether He is speaking. The question is, are you listening? The voice of God is never absent. It is ever present, woven into the fabric of your being, calling you back to the truth of who you are. It is not something external, not something separate from you. It is the still, small voice within, the deep knowing that rises unbidden, the unshakable certainty that speaks when logic fails. You were never designed to wander in confusion, to be lost in doubt. The Creator has placed within you an eternal compass, a divine whisper that, if followed, will lead you unfailingly to your purpose. The question is not whether God is speaking, but whether you have learned to recognize His voice amid the noise of the world. You may think that if God were speaking, it would be loud, undeniable, impossible to ignore. But His voice does not always come in the way you expect. It is not always a burning bush, a parting sea, or a thunderous proclamation. More often it is a gentle nudge, a quiet prompting, a door that suddenly opens, or just as importantly, one that closes. It is the moment you hesitate before making a wrong decision, the inexplicable feeling that keeps you from going down a certain path. It is the words of a friend that strike deeper than they should, the passage of a book that answers a question you never voiced aloud. It is the dream that lingers, the thought that will not leave you alone, the moment of peace in the midst of chaos. You have already heard Him many times, but you have dismissed His voice as mere coincidence, as wishful thinking, as the product of your own imagination. The mind seeks to rationalize, to explain away what the Spirit instinctively knows, but deep down, in the stillness of your heart, you have felt it. You have known when something was meant for you, when a path was divinely aligned, when a lesson was unfolding before you. The signs were there. They have always been there. God speaks through your circumstances, through the unfolding events of your life. He is in the delay that frustrates you, in the redirection that confuses you, in the endings that you do not understand. When a door closes, it is not rejection, it is protection. When a plan falls apart, it is not failure, it is alignment. But you may not see it yet, but if you were to look back, you would realize that every detour, every seeming setback, every unanswered prayer was in fact an answered prayer in disguise. The hand of God is always moving, even when you cannot perceive it. He speaks through divine timing, through the perfect orchestration of events that no human hand could arrange. Have you ever found yourself in the right place at the right time? Have you ever received what you needed just when you needed it? Have you ever met someone who changed the course of your life in a way you could not have predicted? This is not luck. This is not chance. This is divine order. Even the smallest details of your life are aligned with precision beyond your comprehension. When you learn to trust this, to surrender to the flow of divine timing, you will find yourself walking in effortless alignment, no longer fighting against the current, but moving with it. He speaks through your intuition, through the inner knowing that does not rely on external proof. That feeling that something is off, that quiet whisper that urges you to move in a certain direction, this is His voice. The world may tell you to ignore it, to rely only on what can be seen and measured, but faith does not operate by human reasoning. Faith moves in the unseen, trusts in what is felt before it is proven. When you listen to your intuition, you are listening to the divine. The more you trust it, the louder it becomes. The more you ignore it, the quieter it seems. Not because it is left, but because you have tuned it out. God speaks through your desires, through the longings He has placed in your heart. That dream that refuses to die, that vision that stirs something deep within you, this is not random. It was placed within you for a reason. What God calls you to, He equips you for. If the desire is there, so is the way. But He will not force it upon you. He will only invite you to step into it. The path to your purpose is one of faith, one of trust, one of listening to the voice within that tells you to keep going, even when nothing makes sense yet. He speaks through your emotions, through the peace that comes when you are on the right path, through the discomfort that signals when you are not. There is a reason why certain choices bring you joy and others leave you restless. There is a reason why certain people uplift you while others drain you. God has given you an internal guidance system, a way of knowing what is meant for you and what is not. When something is aligned, there is peace, even in uncertainty. When something is not, there is resistance, a heaviness that does not lift, a sense of struggle that does not ease. This is divine communication. Do not ignore it. He speaks through repetition, through the same message appearing in different ways until you finally hear it. When the same lesson keeps showing up in your life, when the same challenge presents itself over and over again, it is not by accident. It is God teaching you, shaping you, refining you. Until you receive the lesson, it will continue appearing in different forms. But once you recognize it, once you shift your perception and respond differently, the cycle breaks and new doors open. He speaks through stillness, through the quiet moments when you are finally able to hear. This is why the world is filled with distractions, why noise is constant, because if you were to truly be still, if you were to silence the outer chaos, you would hear Him clearly. In the stillness there is clarity. In the stillness there is wisdom. If you feel disconnected, if you feel unsure, it is not because God has stopped speaking. It is because you have allowed too much noise to drown Him out. Return to silence and you will find Him there. The messages are all around you. They always have been. There is no such thing as an unanswered prayer, only an unseen answer. There is no such thing as divine absence, only a failure to perceive His presence. What you seek is already seeking you. What you long to hear is already being spoken. The more you attune yourself to His voice, the more unmistakable it becomes. The signs are not missing. The alignment is not distant. It is here, now, waiting for you to recognize it. The question is not whether God is speaking. The question is, are you listening? The voice of God is persistent, unwavering, and ever present. It does not fade, nor does it retreat, but it waits. It waits for your recognition, for your willingness to trust in something beyond what the eyes can see. The greatest tragedy is not that God does not speak, but that so many refuse to listen. They demand signs, yet dismiss the very ones placed before them. They seek answers, but disregard the whispers in their hearts. They look for miracles, but fail to recognize the divine hand orchestrating their lives in perfect order. You have felt it. You have known moments when something beyond your understanding was guiding you, when circumstances aligned too perfectly to be mere coincidence. Yet, doubt creeps in. The mind, conditioned to question the unseen, convinces you that you imagined it. But what if you did not? What if every so-called coincidence was a carefully woven thread in the divine tapestry of your life? What if the urges, the intuitions, the repeated messages were never random at all, but intentional? God speaks through divine disruptions. When everything you planned unravels, when the path you were so sure of suddenly vanishes, when doors close without explanation, these are not accidents. These are divine interventions. The human mind perceives loss as failure, but the spirit understands that God removes what no longer serves you. He shifts you, redirects you, places you in positions you would not have chosen, but that are necessary for your growth. You cry over lost opportunities, not realizing that God is protecting you from the very thing you thought you wanted. You resist change, not knowing that where He is taking you is far greater than where you have been. You are never being punished, you are being positioned. What seems like rejection is redirection. What feels like abandonment is alignment. The delays, the detours, the disruptions, they are all part of the plan. You may not understand it now, but one day you will look back and realize that every unanswered prayer was actually an answered prayer in disguise. God's silence is never truly silence. It is a shift, a moment of preparation before the revelation. God speaks through the desires of your heart, that dream that refuses to leave you, that vision that keeps resurfacing, that deep longing that no amount of logic can suppress. This is not by accident. The desires placed within you are not random. They are divine instructions. What you seek is seeking you. The vision you carry is proof that it is possible. You were not given dreams to be tormented by their impossibility, but to awaken to their inevitability. The only requirement is faith. Faith is not just believing in what you cannot see. It is acting as if it is already yours. It is walking in certainty before the evidence appears. It is speaking as if it is already done. It is aligning your thoughts, your words, and your actions with the knowing that if God placed it in your heart, it is already written in your destiny. Doubt is the only thing that delays it. Fear is the only thing that obstructs it. The moment you surrender fully, the moment you stop questioning whether you are worthy of what you desire, the floodgates open. God speaks through discomfort, the unease you feel in certain situations, the restlessness that will not subside, the sense that you are meant for more. This is divine communication. Discomfort is not a sign that something is wrong. It is a sign that something is shifting. It is the soul's way of telling you that you have outgrown where you are. What once felt comfortable now feels restrictive. What once fulfilled you now leaves you empty. What once trusted you now leaves you empty. What once fulfilled you now leaves you empty. This is God's way of nudging you toward transformation. Growth is not supposed to be comfortable. If you never feel stretched, if you never feel called to more, you are not listening. You may try to resist it. You may try to remain where it feels safe, where it feels familiar. But the voice of God will not allow you to stay where you no longer belong. The discomfort will grow stronger. The signs will become more apparent. And if you still refuse to move, you will move you. You were not created to remain stagnant. You were not designed to live beneath your potential. The Spirit within you knows this, and it will continue to call you higher. God speaks through divine connections, the people who enter your life at the right moment, the unexpected conversations that shift your perspective, the mentors and guides who appear just when you need them. This is not chance. The universe rearranges itself in response to your spiritual alignment. When you are ready, the right people will come. When you are open, the right opportunities will reveal themselves, but you must recognize them when they appear. Too often, people pray for a sign but reject the very answer that is sent to them. They expect God to work in one way, and when He moves differently, they fail to see His hand at work. The lesson is this: do not be so attached to how you think it should happen that you miss how it is actually happening. Divine encounters do not always come in the form you expect. Be open, stay present. When the right connection is made, you will know. It will feel effortless, aligned, divinely timed. God speaks through the breaking. The moments of despair, the seasons of isolation, the times when everything seems to be crumbling, this is where transformation begins. It is in the breaking that the old self dies and the true self is revealed. Pain is not punishment. It is preparation. The suffering is not meaningless. It is refinement. The breaking is not the end. It is the beginning. You have been asking for strength, so He is teaching you resilience. You have been asking for wisdom, so He is allowing you to experience growth. You have been asking for faith, so He is placing you in situations where you have no choice but to trust. Every challenge is an answer to a prayer you once prayed. Do not resist the process. Lean into it. Trust that what feels like an ending is actually the making of something new. God speaks in the silence. In a world filled with noise, with distractions, with constant movement, it is in the stillness that His voice becomes clearest. This is why silence feels uncomfortable for many. Because in the quiet, the soul is exposed. The fears, the doubts, the truths we try to avoid rise to the surface. But this is where God meets you. Not in the chaos, not in the distractions, but in the quiet spaces of your heart. If you want to hear Him, be still. If you want answers, listen. Everything you need to know is already within you. The answers you seek, the direction you long for, it is all there. The voice of God is not something you have to search for. It is something you have to attune yourself to. The more you listen, the clearer it becomes. The more you trust, the more evident His presence is. There is no separation between you and the divine. You were created from it, you are sustained by it, and you will always be connected to it. The signs are there, the voice is speaking, the guidance is constant. You are not waiting for God, He is waiting for you. Waiting for you to trust, waiting for you to listen, waiting for you to step into the fullness of who you were created to be. The question has never been whether He is speaking. The question has always been, are you listening? God does not stop speaking simply because you refuse to listen. His voice does not fade into silence just because you allow the noise of the world to drown it out. The divine presence is constant, unwavering, ever near. Yet the human mind, conditioned by years of doubt and distraction, often ignores the whispers of the Spirit. You ask for signs, yet you walk past them every day. You seek answers, yet you dismiss the very thoughts and feelings that rise within you. The truth is not hidden from you. It has been speaking all along. The question is not whether God is talking to you, but whether you have silenced yourself enough to hear. Everything in your life is a message. The delays, the disappointments, the redirections, none of them are random. The people who enter and exit your life, the moments of synchronicity, the unexpected opportunities, they are all divine signals pointing you in the direction you are meant to go. But instead of trusting the unfolding, you question it. You resist what does not fit your expectations. You cling to what is falling apart. You try to force open doors that were never meant for you. And when the path does not look the way you imagined, you assume God is silent, but He is not. He is speaking in every shift, every closed door, every redirection. You must trust that if something is being removed, it is only because something greater is on the way. How many times have you felt an unshakable knowing deep within, yet allowed fear to talk you out of it? That sudden urge to move, to act, to speak, to change, that was not your imagination. It was divine instruction. But instead of obeying, you hesitated, you questioned, you let doubt convince you that it was just a fleeting thought. Yet the moment you chose not to listen, you felt the weight of regret. The inner voice, the one that tells you to take that leap, to leave that situation, to step into something new. It is not there to mislead you. It is the voice of God, guiding you, directing you, preparing you. The more you ignore it, the quieter it seems. But the truth is, it never stops speaking. It is you who must become still enough to hear it. God speaks through patterns. Have you noticed how the same lessons keep appearing in your life? The same struggles, the same challenges, the same repeated cycles. This is not coincidence. It is divine instruction. Life will keep presenting the same lesson until you finally learn what God is trying to teach you. The pain you continue to experience is not there to break you. The situations that seem to keep happening are not a sign of punishment, but of unfinished growth. You ask why things are not changing, but God is asking why you have not yet listened. The moment you finally grasp the lesson, the moment you shift your mindset, the moment you choose to see differently, the cycle ends. Everything in creation is aligned with divine order. The sun does not question whether it should rise, the ocean does not resist the pull of the tide, the trees do not fear the change of seasons. Yet humans, gifted with the ability to create, to dream, to manifest, allow fear to paralyze them. You were never meant to struggle in uncertainty. The voice of God within you is not one of confusion, but of clarity. It does not whisper fear, but faith. It does not plant seeds of doubt, but of divine assurance. If you feel uncertain, it is not because the path is unclear. It is because you have clouded your own mind with hesitation. The moment you let go of the need to control, the moment you surrender the fear of the unknown, everything will align in ways you never imagined. God speaks through the unexpected, the chance meeting that changes your life, the words of a stranger that answer the question you never voiced, the book that falls into your hands at just the right moment. These are not random occurrences. They are divine appointments. The people who enter your life, even briefly, are there for a reason. Some to teach you, some to awaken you, some to remind you of who you truly are. But are you paying attention? Are you recognizing the messengers when they arrive, or are you dismissing them because they do not look the way you expected? Be open to how God moves. He does not always come in thunder and fire. Sometimes He comes in whispers, in nudges, in the smallest of moments that, when connected, reveal a masterpiece far greater than you could have ever imagined. God speaks through restlessness, that feeling that you are meant for more, that deep knowing that where you are is not where you are supposed to stay, that stirring in your spirit that refuses to let you settle. This is not dissatisfaction, it is divine urging. You were not created for mediocrity, you were not designed to simply exist. The vision placed within you is proof of its own fulfillment. God does not give dreams without also giving you the power to bring them to life. But too many ignore the calling. They stay in situations that no longer serve them. They allow fear to keep them trapped in the comfort of the familiar. Yet the restlessness remains. It does not go away. It is God's way of reminding you that there is more. But here is the truth many do not want to face. The opportunity will not always wait. If you refuse to move when you are called, the door will eventually close. Not as punishment, but as a lesson. A lesson that hesitation has consequences. A lesson that ignoring the signs does not make them disappear. A lesson that faith without action is meaningless. When you feel the calling, answer it. When the door opens, walk through it. When the inner voice tells you it is time, trust it. There will never be a perfect time. There will never be a moment when all fear disappears. The only way forward is to step forward. even when you do not have all the answers. God speaks in stillness. The world is loud. The distractions are endless. The noise of doubt, of worry, of external voices telling you who you should be, drowns out the only voice that matters. This is why so many struggle to hear him. They fill every moment with noise, with busyness, with thoughts of the past and anxieties about the future. But God is found in the present, in the quiet moments when you silence your mind and simply be. When was the last time you sat in stillness? When was the last time you allowed yourself to simply listen, not to the world, not to your fears, but to the presence within you that has been waiting for you to notice? The answers you seek are already within. The guidance you long for has already been given. God is not distant. He is not silent. He is here now, always. But he will not force you to listen. He will not compete for your attention. It is you who must choose to hear. It is you who must recognize the signs. It is you who must trust that what you feel, what you know, what you see, aligning in your life is not coincidence. It is divine communication. The question has never been whether God is speaking. The question has always been, are you listening? If you have been waiting for a sign, this is it. If you have been asking if God is speaking to you, he has been all along. The signs are not hidden. They are woven into the fabric of your life, appearing in moments of restlessness, in unexpected encounters, in the deep knowing within you that refuses to be ignored. But it is not enough to recognize them. You must respond. You must trust that the voice within you is leading you exactly where you are meant to go. Do not let fear silence what God has already confirmed in your spirit. Do not dismiss the lessons that keep repeating. Do not ignore the still, small voice that nudges you towards something greater. The answers are not out there. They are within you. The path has been laid, the signs have been given, the call has been made. The only question left is, will you listen?